Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm back and I'm mad.
Yes, I'm Petey Wheatstraw, the devil's son-in-law.
I'm not the Messiah! Oh, bollocks.
Welcome to the 71st episode of Unofficial Hobby Hangout.
Totally worth it. The greatest movie ever made.
And he's not the Messiah. Hello, James, Crispin, Dutch, Tuffy, Demon Sub, and everybody else I just missed. The days almost overlooked him. So have you got some rest from the weekend, or are you still under
Not really.
heavy workload?
Well, all the other kids were either travelling back or what have you yesterday. So they had Monday off, and then they took Tuesday off. So it's just been me and Warren. Warren's doing stuff with peoply things, and I'm doing anything else, including trying to find fucking news articles, you fucks, to ignore cats. I write a news article, I demand you fuckers read it. No,
Did
so
you
I think
get
I'm
vem
off-
braces?
I think I'm off on Friday.
Did you
Although
get vem braces
I
for
have to
everybody?
come back in on Friday because I've got an interview to do on Friday. No van braces.
No.
Did just
shame.
get copies? No, but I think he is just going to use one of those silvery dice bags. Just dip his sack in there and then just tie a little loop-de-loop around his bell end. I mean, I can't say he's not doing it.
That's a picture for you all to take home.
Could be doing
with you.
it right now.
He could be, yes. So, what nice projects did you bring for us?
Yeah,
Draco
just the balls.
Task
Just the balls.
Bravo Force is the first one I have on my list.
Correct. Correctamundo.
Draco 84 ounces.
Sure.
I guess.
Why not?
Isn't that the abbreviation for ounces?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So?
Yeah. Or he was 84 when he returned from Oz. I don't know. He could be the wizard. There's no way to tell for certain. However, this is a bit of an older project. It reappeared and then immediately went on hold, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to come back. So I thought we'd take a look. He was starting a slow grow type league for Team Yankee. When the second edition was released last year. So this is his build through getting his hand on the Battlefront Force, what he's basing it on, and you can see things like the unit descriptions. He particularly wants to form the 22nd Armoured Brigade, 1st Armoured Division, which was Task Force Bravo, hence the name of the project. So he gets his kit together and then starts painting it, and there is very nice painting schemes and tutorials in there as well. I also am a fan of large nails for 15mm painting. I bought a bag of golf tees once to paint 15mm stuff in a similar way so I could put the individual models on them, but the divot in the golf tee is just too deep for you to adequately put your 15mm figures in there, so you're better off just sticking with a big bag of fucking 9-inch nails or 6-inch nails. Get a big Galvy bucket of them.
Wouldn't it be feasible for blue tack in that divot?
Yeah, but it's an awful lot of blue tack and fuss when nails work just as well. And then stick them in the foam and away you go. If you are planning on doing not just 15mm, but if you are planning on doing something like 28mm Cold War or NATO exercises, there are things like uniforms and the weapons and that sort of thing, good pictures of the actual pieces in there, and there's even a battle report, and we all know how much I love battle reports. I'm a whore for them. I can't get enough of them. I want. So just a beautiful little, I would say almost self-contained project so far. Yes, not everything is there. It's not a full force, but what is there is painted up, and the league kicked off, and they got a game in, and then it kind of stuttered and died, as is often the case with these things, which is a terrible shame.
Yeah, but most of the time when it starts on a high and people start losing interest and everything comes to grinding halt, that's always so depressing and demotivating.
Yeah, very much so.
And he did put in a fuck ton of research, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, if you are planning on doing a British Cold War army, doing like Team Yankee or anything of its ilk, there's a ton of information in there. Now, he did reappear briefly in April to go, oh, I'm going to give this another stab. Here's my plans for the next thing. And then it kind of stuttered and died there. But if this is your bag, if this is the sort of thing that interests you, it is definitely worth following the project. So if it does come out of hibernation, you can at least see it without having to wait for me to fucking bring you back up to speed.
And
you wastrels.
Maybe he gets persuaded by
around.
a fuck ton of clicky likes on his project that he that there's interest in it, and that he may nudge his comrades into getting in another game or two. Lift their lazy asses and make some battle reports for us to enjoy. I tried to convince some people to come over to OTT and make their stuff seen, but either I do a very poor job of explaining what it is, or people don't trust me.
Well, people are the worst. And you're not particularly trustworthy.
Well, that
so I
is
can see
true.
how that combos together.
And let's not forget, I'm German, so that's a minus to begin with.
Very true. There's Collins. Hi, Collins.
Hello,
You just missed
Collins.
a terrific little thing that was probably right up your Strasse.
You're talking about the Petey Wheat Straw?
No, I'm talking about the British NATO Army.
Oh, well,
But we're leaving there now, so...
He can always look at it on his own pace.
No, you're not allowed.
Next
You only
project
look at them when they're here.
Next
I delete them
project
afterwards.
is
how it works.
Murder Hobo Squad. Yes, I told ample times I will read up. I haven't. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. And he's writing a ton of stuff.
Yeah, obviously we looked at what Lorna had done before, which is
A lot.
essentially a battle report for his RPG groups, but done a mostly narrative way.
A chronic, if you will.
Yeah, a chronicle. That's a good way of doing it. So he has been doing it for a good long while. In fact, I think when it started off many moons ago, we even gave him golden button for it, because technically it's a battle report. Fucking get in there. But just in case people weren't following when that happened, I thought I would just redirect people's attention to it, because there's substantially more. A lot more has gone into it since those sort of early days. Somewhere in the middle of it, you may even find me.
Yeah, this is one of the projects that every now and then pops up on my notification, and I feel bad because I still haven't read all the 40 entries that came before. Let's be honest, I probably never will. So,
You know, it's a good way to teach kids English. Get the reading up. Just put them in front of the computer, set it to oldest entries first, and they can just start reading their way through it for you.
especially, I think after the first 2 minutes, they would start crying or something.
No, I can't imagine why they would.
Maybe not. Yeah,
It's not like I'm writing it.
Did you ever do a write-up of any RPGs?
Not of any RPGs. I had some friends did write-ups of them. Some friends fucking published books based on RPG games they played. So, yes. Comic Sans
Horrible font. Every time somebody forces me to use that because they want the design in Comic Sans, I cringe. But then again, it's not my birthday cards.
That is true, yeah. No to do with you.
So many buttons to press. People, I hope you're all pressing along just for...
Well, here's one. For this one, I would say don't press along, but instead wait until you're reading your way through it, because it isn't just a visual medium, that one. It is very much about the story.
But stories are weird
And
things.
it is a story, you know.
But is this an ongoing campaign? So the
Yes.
all this... Oh, God.
Yeah. That's why this is merely a refresher that it exists. You know, that's what, session 44. So almost a year's worth of gaming in there.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next project before I feel even more bad. Shingen.
Always feel bad.
Shingen does hobby exploits. Oh, would
They
you
do.
look at this?
Only a couple of updates since the last time we were here. But we do have the
Very shiny.
the military orders. Looking militarily orderish.
Are the crosses embossed on the miniatures at the breastplate? I don't think so.
No.
That takes a steady
because
hand.
you can paint them up as like Knights of Santiago or St. Lazarus, which have swords. So don't want to put crosses on there. Should just piss off the people who don't want crossy peoples. Just saying. Know what I'm saying? Know what I mean?
People getting cross with the cross.
They're Hospitallers post the 1437 Reformation, when they changed from black to having the red surcoats. Of course, being Infinity, probably quite a long way past 1437.
It's just a few decades more.
Mm.
Yeah, but I really love his work on the blades with the non-metal metal.
Yeah. It just goes to show just how piss simple it is to do blending with oils. You don't have to think or anything. You don't even have to be good at painting. That's how easy to use oils is. Throw it on there, just wibble it around and go, look at me. Super fantastic, great.
Hello, here's Becco. Still haven't gotten around to get him on a button. Need to do that at one point in time, and then have his face superimposed on the screen so that his eyes are just visible, and they go, hello. And everybody screams and dies, and my job's done.
I thought you were going to say get his face on screen, but have no eyes in it, so you're just looking out through the mask of Marco, going, hello, you guys,
Oh, that
Marco here.
That would be a horrible image.
Wouldn't that be fucking amazing? Do that now. We'll wait.
That's an idea I actually need to write down. Hold on. So where's my notepad? Do a Marco mask. Fuck up the whole setup for one shitty joke. Well,
Talking about paints and not lubricants there, Crispin. Just saying.
oil paints as a lubricant.
No, not oil paint as a lubricant. Although that reminds me of a conversation we had many months ago about whether or not you could use strawberry jam. You could, but you have the little pips, and chutney's right out. It's far too fibrous.
I don't think you should.
Anyway, but Joan of Arc is not the only bit of painting he's done since we were last here. He's
No.
also a member of the regular public.
Judy Moreno.
That's her. Little civilian from Unit 9 Patreon. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming 3D printing, based on the stripes on her pocket. very proud I managed to find a patron that actually is just physical miniatures. And in a year's time, I'll get some physical miniatures from it. I'm going, that is exactly the speed at which I need this to happen. Yes.
A slow but steady stream of physical miniatures.
That's not even a stream. It's just you get nothing for a year, and then you get the miniatures that have been sculpted over the year. And I'm going, spot on.
Yeah, well done on these 6 miniatures. Shenanigans?
Shenanigans? You're calling shenanigans?
I call bullcrap.
Yeah.
Next project, please!
Sweet like candy is sweet.
Scrolling like the old ones.
Nope.
Burson Carpathian.
I've got one too far.
Did you?
That's because I was already on one. Wow.
No, that's the right link.
Is it the right link? Oh no, it's the right link. That's okay. I've got it open twice. That's fine. There we go. Let's close one.
So
I don't think I need both.
So he continued on his lovely bookcase adventure and his terrain.
Well, that's the problem with cunningly making something that looks nice for yourself. Then your friends will ask for one as well. So, once bitten, twice shy on that. Never finish anything and certainly don't do it to a good standard. That's how I avoid being asked for things.
And of course, never show it to anybody or a wider audience.
Show it to anyone.
I love this little
the little mammoth.
skull.
The little mammoth.
With all the flowers in it that you could pick for a health bonus or make potions of.
Yep. Me being me, I think the red tree is growing out of the eye socket. Oh no, it's just behind it.
No,
I would love to have one just growing, just a tree right out of the eye socket. Just let people know it's been there for a little while. Just a sapling. Doesn't need to be big.
Engraving on the box again. Nicely done. Could be asked to do so myself. But then again, I could ask him to do it.
That's true.
But what are these?
What are what?
The two magnet shiny things in the middle.
Yes, the little brassy bits.
Yeah.
I think they are actually some form of magnet thing. I think it's how it locks. But it doesn't explain it. And I know because I looked. Yeah, you can ask. What are the little brassy things? What are these for? Because they look like those tiny little magnets you used to have when you were a kid.
Yeah, it looks a bit like if the lid has been coated with magnet sheeting. Maybe he wants to apply miniatures?
Could be that. Maybe it's solely there just to annoy us.
Yes, we need to inquire. If the project system will
What
allow
are
us.
the tiny brass pawns stuck inside the lid of your box? We need to know. If we don't find out, we'll be killing everybody.
And gone.
Good team. I didn't ask him a question. But yeah, it's just nice to see a bit more of the scenery, because I do like the scenery. I'm assuming the mammoth skull probably bought it from somewhere. They do seem to do a lot of really nice terrain, which I keep missing because it's on Modiphius's website, and I try and avoid going near that.
Yeah, and also you're not on Twitter.
No.
So
Why would I be on that?
For reasons.
No reason is good enough to encourage me to go on it. Hi, Fulcrum.
Nothing is
What
happening
tiny
with.
little brass things are that are stuck to the inside of the lid of a box.
He's
Apart from that, nothing much.
talking about these ones. We are thinking they may be some kind of weird sexual device for nipple clamps or something. But we will never know unless he answers. Next project, please.
Projects.
Panzer kaputt. And he's at his best doing Baron's War. Drink. Oh no, it's not English Civil War, but... Yeah, he had shown off his little chateau in on the Discord more than once.
Yeah. And obviously there's a lot more coming because in the best house we see what's coming.
The mutinous tutinous?
Or go fuck yourself.
Well, at least the mutinous tutinous can see things coming.
That's very true. But obviously the chateau being complete looks absolutely spanking.
It
like
does.
a pot noodle, it's spanking gorgeous.
And he did a very nice job in adding features to the MDF kit.
Yeah, the brickwork, the tiling, the I suppose distressing the wood, just makes it look more finished, I suppose.
More
probably the best way.
realistic.
Yeah. So I like all of that. That's all great. Wow, 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 wow. But also there are some more of his football team nights. So there's
Well, why do you call them football team nights? Because of the bright poppy colours, or
because he literally paints them to match football teams. So that one there was painted up when England were going to win the Euros. Remember when England were going to win the Euros? It was all over the news. They were going to win the Euros. Every time they won a match, they'd won the Euros. I don't even know why the other team showed up and then they lost the Euros. We didn't hear so much about that. Anyway, yeah, so that is the English national team on the horse curtains there, white with blue lines. And also you'll see other people kicking around like Aston Villa, and we haven't seen Portsmouth yet. A little bit annoyed about because Portsmouth, out of all of the teams in the various football leagues, actually has a badge / coat of arms that would make a coherent Baron Wars
maybe
heraldry. But
maybe that's the problem. Every team he has painted lost. Do we see a pattern?
I don't think Portsmouth can lose any more than they have lost. Really. The fact that they still exist is a fucking Christmas miracle.
Well,
held the FA Cup longer than anybody else. Can't take that away from them.
I need to take your word for it because I have no fucking clue.
Play up Pompey. Play up Pompey.
Oh, Tuffy's going home. Oh no, the football is going home. Well, wherever home is. Oh, I have been told this year it's in Rome.
Yes. Well, somewhere in Italy. Although, what was the one I said? Argentina won the Cup to America, and Italy won the Euros. So the Pope must have called in some pretty heavy fucking favours.
Or it was a sort of pay rise from above.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job. I'll give you that.
Still not allowed to get married. Keep your todger out of tiny people. Otherwise, have some cups.
A cup of tea and a cup of football. Otherwise, shut up. Yeah, Panzer kaputt, doing way too much in a too short of time. That's public service for you. He's probably painting on company taxpayers' time.
Well, why not? I would have. If I could have got away with it in the civil service, I certainly would have. But yeah, terrific looking stuff. And like I say, there's a lot more to come.
Yeah, then let's move on to the next project before we wait, because he may just be refreshing his project.
System. Yeah, if you just hit refresh, probably. Yeah.
Demon's Up. Adventures of Barret Ranger of Shadow Deep.
That is his name, Bernie, the Ranger Shadow Deep. So, again, partly an RPG, partly a tabletop skirmish game. Rangers of Shadowy Deep is all these things and more. And another scenario. Bigger this time, getting to the stage where no longer will books be able to contain the vast munificence of the tabletop.
At some point in the future, I need to get myself a dictionary.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, just looking at the setup with his 4 books, I think he really makes the most of them.
Yeah. It's a genius way of doing it. Since the minute they brought the books in and I started flicking through them for reviews, I was going, well, this is perfect, because a double-sided book, and then you double up the book beside it, and the short edges become long edges, and then they match the other side. You know, you can go up and up and up. You can do complete dungeon crawls or fuck through a castle if you want, using 3 of those books. Giving you everything from little rooms to big rooms, so it's good.
The only thing that would annoy me personally is the position of the spine. Because
Well,
if you flick open the book, just in the front or the back, you have a very high level of difference between the sheets, and that would annoy me as hell. So I would probably only use them split in the middle.
they are doing the foldy sheety versions instead, but I honestly don't care about the spirals. I mean, if you're going to the level of abstraction where you're using a book instead of a mat, the spirals are merely a featurette, you know.
And I guess as long as you're playing small skirmishy type games, or dare I say even use it for RPGs and miniatures, it's probably fine.
No, definitely keep the books. You've started, so you have to finish like that. You're very Magnus Magnuson-y. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean?
It's just me, being an annoying cunt, and being very anal about having flat surfaces.
He's like that.
And you should see me when the camera is off. I'm even worse.
He is worse. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do?
You can press like, subscribe, and watch it live.
Hit
merch.
the bell button.
If I'd use that excerpt of his videos, I think I should pay him dividends on it. Hit the like, subscribe. I'm still having nightmares about all his happiness. It's amazingly spooky. But maybe I'm just afraid that at some point he'll make a video coming forward being the most depressed person on Earth, right after the likes of Robin Williams.
Pagliucci.
It's just... that scares me the most. People obviously looking to be the very most happy persons on Earth and suddenly coming forward saying, yeah, I'm thinking about killing myself. Not funny. But then again,
Funny.
Pretty sure many of us have been there. I know I have. Oh,
I haven't. You're completely on your own. I'm a terrifically funny person.
Peter
The
Cushing.
miniature in the house. Peter Cushing died. Oh no. Renee. Was it Giants in Miniature? Peter Cushing. Got him somewhere behind me. Found him in a box the other day with a load of other things, which is just as well because I was going to order him.
I think.
And then I opened the box and went, "Oh, I've got one."
Is this the person in question?
Hang yourself. Oh, like Peter Cushing didn't do it like that. David Carradine did. You should have a look for. It's Died of a Strangle Wank. Is that the name of the song?
Suffocation whilst being aroused, you mean?
Jesus Died of a Strangle Wank. It's a great wee song. Google that one later on, Crispin. He could not kung fu as well, but you're correct.
Yeah, some things don't let them fight.
The Old Man Hunched Over is modelled from the 80s. Best period of time. Not sure which one though, because there's so much movement going on, I'm so confused. Oh, that Peter Cushing lying dead on the floor. I've seen him before. Where did he come from?
Taurus, hello.
Ba-ba-ba-bow. Bear's head. Nice.
So, our next project then would be something more joyful.
Always pushing me along. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that one.
Cracking out the whip. Adventures in Frozen City by Rix. This is a new mod. We didn't see this before, did we?
Yeah. It a long time ago, and by God, he put the foot down. So this is page 2. We're not going back to page 1.
So he's painting miniatures for Frostgrave, which is almost a bit obvious, judging by the bases. I think I've never seen more white on a base.
I don't know. Certainly there's a lot of brightness going on there. I would suggest a white background when photographing white-based miniatures probably is not ideal.
No, probably not.
But it does show up the miniature, and we all know what snow looks like, so hey-ho. This is a variety of models for Frostgrave, including some kit bash bits and pieces, and just, a variety of things from different kits. Pretty much using a host. I don't know if it's all of the kits that were available at the time, but yeah, there's a lot going on, and I like it.
He has a very distinct painting style. It's very not bright, but very opaque colors and strong highlights.
It's almost historical. The historical painters for years have just gone, no, you base coat this color, then you have a medium color, and then you have a light color, and you just color, one on top of the other, and walk away. Get them done. You want to paint a hand? Knuckles and fingertips are all dots. Move on. But it works, and it means you can hammer out stuff that looks great from a distance. He does actually include how he made his basing pastings.
Yeah, we just went past that. We're getting back there.
No, it's not much in the way. Similar to myself, uses spackle, I believe the Americans call it, so ready mix filler, and then mixes white matte paint in with the snow texture, which is probably the best way to do it, because you'll find most snow mediums or snow flocks are fairly translucent, so if you don't have a bit of white or another color in there, they can look like ice or slush. So you just need something to give you a defined base, then you can do whatever you want on top of it. But every man named, which is only right and proper, Frostgrave, that's how they win. You know what happens when you don't name your characters?
They die?
Lose. That's what happens.
They die horribly?
Well, sometimes name ones die as well. But at least when they die, you go, well, Banjo went out like a legend holding the stairway for the wizard to escape. As opposed to Thug with Hammer, killed up like a...
An unknown soldier number 2 just died. Well...
Oh, no. Yep, that type of thing.
I love this kind of straightforward paint job.
I like the strange witchy conversion as well. The blind witch, because that's breaking out the green stuff and getting in there. But yeah,
the wizard gives me a very Mustrum Ritcully vibe.
Yes, not as much as mine, because I converted mine to be more Ritcully-esque. Yeah, Mustrum-esque. He's even got his crossbow for hunting.
And does he have his little flap in the head where his bottle...
Brass top? No. Wow, juice. No, didn't have time for that. Had to get them painted so we could play some games with them. But yeah, lovely set of stuff from Rich. May not be a leaky tire, not entirely certain.
Could be either way. Maybe he or she will enlighten us. I love his profile picture.
What's his profile picture? Is it a stormtrooper? Is that why you love it?
It's a
You love Star?
scout trooper next on his speeder bike.
Wow.
Very clearly to be seen.
Wow, it's not because our faces are over it.
Oh, not on my side. Redshirt 1, Redshirt 2, yeah, that could be working for, I think, for Stargrave. But that would be a very annoying paint scheme, wouldn't it? Just having red shirts.
Little bit. Little bit.
So what do you have in stock for next?
Next,
Millie!
I thought we would revisit
One of our youngest members.
who could never see this show.
Well, maybe her parents are one of the more lax.
I have a sneaking suspicion no is the answer to that one.
Possibly.
But some more work's been done on Marvel.
Yeah, I like that she not just got into the project system for the sheer grabbing of the prizes, as sometimes I feel some parents do with their children just to snag up some freebies. Not saying that I ever thought about doing stuff like that.
Outrageous. Bloody outrageous.
It's not
No,
child
she was
labour
very
as long
wise to
as it's
take-
your own children.
Very wisely picked a prize. But Dad already has. So
Which is a very, very...
can't even snaffle it.
It's almost spooky, such a good move that is.
It's genius. Absolute genius. So yeah, there's been a bit of work done and we've got some colours down on Spider-Man and Marvel.
What I just spied with my little eye, there are Star Wars Legion barricades in the background, unpainted.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, why?
Why are the Star Wars Legion barricades or why are they unpainted?
Unpainted.
Maybe the Graphs Bee has not got round to doing them yet.
Paint them! Paint them up! Paint
Not
all the Star Wars.
in that box, unfortunately, Fulcrum. Not in that box. Presumably,
Magnitude.
that box will need to be finished before further models are bought. But time will tell.
Taurus, I don't win 40k stuff by letting my daughter paint anything. That would be a new one. But no, I can't. I was just thinking about letting her have her own YouTube account and then comment, but she's too young.
Yeah, you know,
She's not
that doesn't
getting an
mean
account yet.
let's face it, YouTube looked at the massive bill they were given and went, despite the fact our terms and conditions say children shouldn't be on this channel, we will just make everybody else accountable, not us.
Yeah.
And then they flick the V's going, fuck you all. You fucks. Wayne's Workshop, my fucking unboxing of Wayne's Workshop has been blocked by YouTube.
Why?
Because fuck only knows why. To be brutally honest, fuck only knows why they've blocked it. It's age restricted. You've got to go to YouTube to watch it. You can't watch it from the OTT site. And I just looked at that and went, somebody needs to firebomb YouTube. Just wherever the fuck their headquarters are, put a bomb in the post and send it to them. It won't do any harm to any real people because nobody real works at YouTube. It's all just fucking AIs doing algorithm shite.
I try to imagine at what point that unboxing could have triggered anything.
No, there's nothing. It's a light and smoke machine for cosplayers and potentially model
I think
builders.
that the chat's got a point. It's vape. I think you mentioned the similarities.
I couldn't give a thundering fuck if it's similar to vape or not, and I mentioned it because, and I can't state this enough, fuck YouTube. Kids are not supposed to be on the site. And that's not for kids.
Yeah. Oh god.
Not for kids. You have to take a little box if your shit's for kids. Going, I've
Yeah.
sprinkled sugar over my knob. It's for kids, or whatever it is you fucking do on your videos. But no, so fuck them. Fuck them, fuck their AI. Turn the heat up and watch the servers burn. That's what I say.
Well, given the current climate, I think we'll not have to wait very long for that.
God, we can only hope.
One
We
can
only
dream.
hope.
Well, Millie, just in case your parents are allowing you to watch this, I'm guessing
I
not
very much
after this
fucking doubt
portion, but well done you.
Congratulations.
Keep up the good work. Don't listen too much to the old grognards, that is us, and just enjoy your hobby.
Oh yeah, don't listen to us.
Next up then, Boris.
Next up,
And
we have other
friend.
things.
For very hairy brains. Oh, he's just doing lovely painting up stuff again.
Yeah, there's only one entry, but it is just the I finished my stuff. And also based, I quite like how Hairy Brains has done the basing.
Oh yeah.
I'm not entirely certain that all those leaves haven't been individually handmade from some form of green stuffy putty, but I have a sneaking suspicion
They could.
that that's exactly what's been going on there. So Boris, Klaus, and Reagan, and of course Boris' vicious attack bunnies, are ready to rock people's worlds in a Moonstone style E.
Yeah, I love the basing from the bunnies. It just adds so much. Imagine those bunnies on a plain brown or even grassy base would be, yeah, it's a bunny. But this just adds another level.
Yeah, I mean, why would you not want that?
What did he say?
What are you looking for?
To see if he mentions that he had done the leaves via the memes of green stuff.
No, doesn't.
Oh, sad.
Because we were here last week when it was almost, the first coats were going down, and then that's it pretty much.
Yeah, he only talks about green stuffing the roots of the big, what's it called again? Fae?
Could be.
Priestess. The priestess. Oh,
Reagan, Flutie Reagan. Yeah.
yeah, well
Ah,
done,
yeah.
right.
Between that and the color choices, because the color choices are so different from anything else.
Are they much different from the box art? Because I
Oh
can't,
God, yeah.
I think the box art
At no,
is...
at no point do any of them have those colors on them. Boris maybe is the closest to the box art in that there are actually browns for the fur. See the two green furred people?
Mhm.
No. Nosy, no. Not there.
That's a point I really admire with some painters when you get a miniature and there's very prominent art for it, and I have a hard time imagining miniatures painted otherwise than is displayed by the makers. But this is really something. This could be a situation where the artist who envisioned them now thinks, well, why didn't I think of that color scheme?
Yeah, I mean it's a touch of the surrealist, but I just absolutely adore them.
Well, let's be honest, a brown-furred guy with horns isn't very realistic either, so the color
Well,
doesn't...
I don't know.
Doesn't
Brown
add.
fur is right. If they are goat men or deer people or whatever, the fur color is right. How often do you see green fur outside of sloths?
Living and dead animals?
Just living, specifically living.
Not very often, to be
You know.
fair. Yeah. Oh. And another one.
Another one. I don't have any. It's outrageous. How come you get some and I don't?
Because it's just lemonade. It's not...
Yeah, so you say.
Yes, of course, so I say. I need to remain sober. Tomorrow is work. All work, no fun.
Fun is overrated, I hear.
So, what's our next surprise for the audience?
Celts.
How I missed that. Zoipenhead.
Yep. Could be
Almost-
Saga. Could be Clash.
Almost
Up to
naked
you.
people.
Yes. What they lack in clothes, they make up for in blue paint.
And he's really doing a awesome job again with the free hands.
Really nice. Especially on those miniatures.
Are these the symbols and markings? Are there any
No.
things that you any historical reference, or is this just slap it on? And
Very much slap it on.
so even the back in the
Swirls
days,
and shapes.
they just free-handed and winged it, and
Who knows? I mean, even at no point did you ever get detailed drawings from the Romans. They would comment on things, but then after that, you're having to make shit up.
yeah,
So-
I'm guessing Romans weren't great at doing photography either.
Not so much. Not so much. But really nice set of classic cobblestone sculpts from Foundry. Foundry still do some of the best models. Fuck it. 30 odd years later, and they still stand up to stuff today.
Goes
Beautiful.
to show that a good handcraft made thing is more or less timeless, if done well.
I also, and that's a, they used to do that with GW Orcs. When you've seen the blue tattoos painted on, where they would paint dark blue and then a light blue in the middle of it, leaving like a darker outline. And he's done the same on that. It just makes them stand out a bit more. Actually having the highlight on them, even though it's, completely, it's not even a highlight like you would get like a forced highlight on the miniature from muscle tone or definition, things like that. It has no reason to have it, but if you ever don't do it on a miniature, if you're painting or doing a tattoo, it looks really weird.
Yeah, so,
Not
something
not
is
having
missing.
Yeah.
I guess it's because if you get yourself body painted, that the body paint always has its own sheen, despite of your skin.
Vikings are the best way to go for a starter for Saga. It's a very forgiving list. Some of the other ones are close to impossible to play if you don't know the ins and outs of the game already. So if you pick up like an Irish warband or a Strathclyde Welsh or something like that, you'll find that all that happens is you go on the battlefield and you get your toys handed back to you by your opponent, and then you go, this is a shit game.
I'm going to make a complete dumbass of myself now because I never looked into it deeper. So
No, James, he rolls Normans with a fuck ton of archers.
So Saga is the main rule set, and then
Saga is the system.
And then there's subsystems, or is that just an addendum, or how do Age of Magic and all the other things work?
All the other things are periods to play. So Age of Magic is fantasy. Age of Hannibal is Punic Wars. Age of the Crusades are the Crusades. Age of Invasions, which is coming out later on this year, is the late Roman sort of 300-400 period in the British Isles, and then Age of Vikings is Viking-y.
And you're technically not mixing and matching those, are you?
It depends. In a tournament, certainly not. Although there's that many of them now that some of the tournaments are saying they might. But essentially, the books are balanced within themselves. So the factions within the Viking book will play equally well against each other. What you might find is, if you were to take something from the Punic Wars and then fight them,
Saga magic.
1,000 odd years later against the Vikings, that you may find lists in there that are just unstoppable because the style of warfare is different, and then the things that go into to make the lists play to their strengths for the period that they existed are just overwhelming for one side or the other. So, you know.
Taurus wants to know what crusades are covered in Saga.
Northern Crusades and first to third or first to fourth, I think. The Baltic Crusades, because fuck the pagan peoples, as they say in France. Ba, 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 ba.
So basically,
like
if you want to start Saga, you need the core rulebook and then the appropriate time period you want to play.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you need aside from miniatures and dice? Rules-wise, are there any codexes or something weird stuff?
No, the books are. So when you get a Age of whatever book, so if you get the Age of the Vikings, it contains all of the lists and all of the battle boards to play all of the factions in there. You don't even need the dice. I have a big box of blank dice that I just put stickers on if I need a new set of dice. The dice are nice to have, but completely unnecessary. They even have on the website downloads, so you can literally go to their website and go, I'd like to use Irish, download the symbols for the Irish, put them on stickers and stick them on a blank dice. You go.
So it's a very self-contained system without needing to buy tons of stuff. That's a very tempting thought. Oh.
Radio Fugu.
Fugu?
Radio Saga.
Well, enough of Saga for now, then. May we go on to the next project?
Sure. Why not?
I think this is Flames of War, Vietnam. By Andre77.
Yep.
Did we visit this before? I don't think so.
I have, certainly. Can't remember if we did.
No, I don't think so. I'm just scrolling now because I think I would have remembered the header picture he did there.
It's possible. Again, this is another one that's been going for a while, but he's been doing some updates recently. So
that's a long one. I give him that.
So this is page 2.
Page 1. Page 2.
But some interesting things of note for me.
Oh, and he received a gold button for it.
Yep, told you I've been here before. Apart from the miniatures, as there's some little interesting experiments where it's doing water basing and stuff, which in 15mm is fucking insanity.
Yeah, I think
there you go.
It's such a shallow.
No, you're not allowed to see it. Tim won't let you. That's why I give you the link.
What, is it even further down? Oh, there's even more.
No, you embiggened us whenever I was talking at some point and haven't put things up on the screen again.
Haven't I?
That's what they're talking
I was
about.
scrolling all around.
Were you? Oh, what a terrible shape.
Oh, I'm a terrible bastard. Here we are.
Well, we knew that. But things like
here are the
brown water. It's obviously brown water navy. It's fairly famous. I like how he's done that as well, which is essentially just get a brown mat for the table and then set raised polystyrene areas on top to make your ground. You know, you don't have to be clever. You don't have to build up these things massively and do all sorts of complicated things. Just negative space.
This gives me a very platoonish vibe.
Good. It was, after all, Vietnam.
And I love the smell of napalm in the mornings.
That's the one. That is very much the one.
Just needs somebody surfing along those lines.
Yeah. But the whole host of stuff, from the actual forces to the civilians, having things like the little saipan boats sort of drifting the way down, and even having the civilians. Now, I haven't got the Brownwater Navy rules, so I don't know if they are used as some sort of deployment. So if it's a case of they could be something, or they're just board decoration.
Or obstacles.
Could go either way. Well, civilians aren't obstacles, because if you plow over the top of them, they don't really stand up to much. They won't stop you. Because I've got a set of civilians for World War II, and those civilians were just something that they did because it was nice, and they're not actually anything to do with the game itself. Likewise, these could be the same, but if there's a possibility that your opponent can use them as markers for deployment of units, that could be fun. I heard the Brownwater Navy was getting tanked. I don't think it ever had the pickup that they thought it was going to have, which is a bit of a shame, but the project itself is fairly amazeballs.
Is Brownwater Navy some extra rule set or something completely different?
No, it's same as Team Yankee or the Great War. It's a rule set based on the flame system for the period. So
we want to see it painted black. Well, I can see what you did there, Dutch.
Does it mean primer? I don't think he uses black primer.
Does he use Brain Mother Beige?
Could be. But yeah, the whole thing is, I mean, Vietnam. I was talking weirdly about this recently with somebody, Warren actually, I think, and I never really cared about the Vietnam conflict on the grand scheme, but I'm always fascinated by, if you're watching films like Platoon, where it's just concentrating on a small number of people. I always think that those are interesting, would be great on the tabletop if you can get a system that invests in the platoon, an actual proper skirmish. I don't just mean 12 people on the tabletop, but actually something that works to the strengths of that group of people working together. So
Frostgrave in Vietnam.
that type of thing. Well, no, not even, because Frostgrave specifically is only about 2 people, and all the rest they don't have names. They don't do it. They never level up. They never do anything of note. They're interchangeable if they die. Something that actually has defined rules for the platoon as a whole. So if such and such gets killed, then it means something.
I really must say that these are ships configurations I've never seen before. But then again, I never went on with the Vietnam War and anything further than weird American action movies. So
I do like the way he's done his thatch as well for 15mm. Using the paintbrush bristles is particularly good.
Yeah, weirdly that was at the end and the beginning of the entry, and using double-sided tape.
Yeah.
It's quite ingenious. Cheap brush, clip it apart, use the glue, and you're done. Snip away.
Yeah. Looks incredibly effective. If I ever do anything like that in 15mm, I'll certainly bear that in mind.
Wouldn't that also work in 28mm for fetching? Because these are roofs with very thick branches in relative terms to the thatching you would have in a European housing, I'd say.
See, I would say the other way, that they do not have much thatching compared to European housing.
No, I just meant the
thatching on
diameter
European
of...
houses could be like a meter thick.
Yeah, but I was talking about the diameter of the actual single straws that in. These seem to be more on the thicker side in regards to what we use.
But
the actual
depth
layer
isn't there.
thickness is higher.
Yeah.
That's
So you would literally have to build up layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer, which is just more time than I'm willing to devote to it when teddy bear fur is a thing that exists.
That's also very true, and that's one of the hobby tricks I still can't mention to my daughter, otherwise she will look at me like I'm a mass
Skin
murderer.
Paddington. Skin Paddington.
If you want to skin my teddy bears over my dead body.
Anywho.
Next up then, I took a sneak peek. Grasshoppers and elephants.
Yep. Since we were in Asia, I thought we'd stay in the Nam. We have seen this.
Yes.
We've seen it from the other side, from page 1. But this is, page 2, more up to date. But there's some fantastic things there. So, for example, the tiger-style helmet is painted onto one of the people in the first picture, thus recreating that.
Yeah, and that's very, very hard work, I presume. At that scale.
Well, I wouldn't do it. That's just me.
Oh, I go out of my way and say most people wouldn't do that. Because most people value their sanity a bit more than the details on their tiny fighting man.
That's how the magic happens. But once again, in a turn-up that nobody will suspect, there's a battle report in here as well. So...
way down, I suspect.
Oh, it's back in May, so you have to go down a bit further before you find it.
Oh, we are already in May.
Oh, in that case, you can't be far away.
Extraction under fire. Oh, this. Here, I see.
That's the one. That is the one. But it goes down through the whole thing from setting up to the actual mechanics of the game, and then through to actually playing out the scenario as well. So it's an interesting little solo rule set that I think he's developing himself.
Looking at this, this always gives me the creep when you're using dice as a wound marker or something, and it's not a d6, because I tend to fumble those around a lot.
Oh yeah. At no point will they stay where they are. They will definitely end up going all across the board at some point.
And at some point in the game, I might do the eventual dad sneeze and they go ballistic all over the table. Never to be seen again. Does he tell if he does it? Blah. Does he tell at some point if he has done the rules by himself? I can't find it quickly.
10th of May, during the lockdown, I've been messing around with some solo rules to go with the growing collection, so I get a few games in. So, I don't know if it's a solo rule set that he is literally messing around with, or if it's a solo rule set that he's picked up from somewhere and he's messing around with that. So, it could go either way.
I think he's creating it himself, because he also goes in and says, I'd like to have hacks, but squares are more easily to paint. Which is a valid point.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're going to get a jig. Because if you make a little jig, you can hex across the board to your heart's content.
Yeah, it still takes an awful lot of time to make a mat. There's no trick to speed it up.
Yeah, there is. You make a jig.
Yeah, but using a jig over a large mat still takes
That's
much time.
That's not a massive mat though. That's what, 3x3? Yeah.
2x2?
2x, even fucking smaller, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. How little time have you got in your life that you can't draw a fucking hex across a 2x2 with a jig?
That much. That much.
Apparently. Holy Jesus, titty shitballs. And fuck my life. Just put the thing down and run a Sharpie through it and move on.
Just saying, I really admire people getting in and having the mindset to work out rules, because I did try once and I failed spectacularly. It just went downhill from the start. I started with very high hopes, only to see myself get buried beneath a fuck ton of markers and special rules because I wanted it to be as realistic as possible. That being said, I was trying to make a Battle of Hoth game.
Oh well. It's one way of doing it, certainly.
Yeah, I never touched the idea of making rules ever again after that point. I still got some knots in my brain somewhere because of that. So, nah, not happening. Teddy Westside, where did I hear that name before?
Where did you hear it? Not from me.
No, Tuffy just said Teddy Westside would have done it. Can't remember where that name came from.
It's How I Met Your Mother. It was the name of... it was the nickname that Ted used to use to his fiancée.
That's then
who then
why
went back
I
to her
can't
ex-husband.
remember, because I never watched that show.
And then he later on wrote a film called The New York Architect or something like that, which was a thinly veiled attack on Teddy Westside and his awesome cowboy boots. Maybe.
He's calling me Carlos Danger, so that's funny for everybody else but me. Because I can't tell what he's up about. I'm writing that down, Mr. Crispin. I will look that up, and if that is not funny, you will be hearing from my lawyers. And
Of course it's funny. Why would he be saying it if it wasn't funny?
And they will tell you, this was not funny, Mr. Crispin. But we're not here to laugh about me. Or maybe some of you are. Whatever fancy you, whatever floats your boat, whatever rocks your knuckles. Next project, please. Heaven and Earth, a samurai project. By Alfonso the Traitor.
Yes. Easy for you to say.
Not really.
That'll be all the carbonated drink you.
Yes, it's a lovely feeling when you all the pressure is vented. It's very relaxing.
Is it venti? Yeah, we were here in March, so there's only a couple that we hadn't seen. But I felt worth to come back and see them, because he's always good quality, is Alfonso.
And he's very, very good at what he does.
Yes, he's like Wolverine, but actually good. This is, I have a sneaking suspicion, his fourth samurai army. I can't remember. It's all starting to blur. There will come a point where this whole thing will fall over dead, because there's just too much going on in it. The detail that he's managed to get on that last unit is particularly nice as well.
Yeah,
I really like them.
the sheer amount of work he does even with the single heads, is how can you manage to stay sane while painting these?
Clearly, he enjoys himself.
There must be something wrong with people when they enjoy doing that. Clearly.
You know, the alternative is it's not a hobby then, it's work. If you're not enjoying what you're doing, then stop doing it.
It's a punishment.
Yep. Just play with the unpainted stuff. Decapitated head.
Yeah, this is a very weird picture, I feel.
No, there we go. Looks fine to me. Why did it not be fine? We're all fine here. How are you?
There's just one information missing. Is that apple juice?
I'm fairly certain it's not.
You think it's pee?
Well, no, obviously pee doesn't go in a square tumbler. Pee goes in a tall round glass.
Maybe. But I very much can attest to his backdrop there. Step aside coffee, this is a job for alcohol. And I wonder if he did the stitching himself or if he got his missus to do it for him.
You know, could go either way.
I wouldn't put it past him that he had done that just to release crumbs from his fingers while painting eyes on tiny fighting man like a lunatic. You mad, sir. But that's why we're here, enjoying the company of other mad people in this hobby of ours.
I'm not mad. I just get these headaches.
I just get people telling me to do something. Wasn't that also a character from Terry Pratchett?
Ahmed, I just get these headaches.
Yes.
Yes.
I was just listening
Route
to
to Necrotelecomicon.
Yeah, I was just listening to the audiobook of what's the bloody book called in English again? Where Holy Wood is resurrected.
Oh, moving pictures.
Moving pictures, yes. And I'm currently at the point where the librarian goes down into the dungeon of the library, looking at the Necrotelecomicon. It's always lovely to hear about an orangutan fighting books. Ook.
Ook, indeed.
3 letters saying all the things. And also, say his name. A man isn't dead as long as his name is spoken.
Yep. That's why Pratchett gets gnawed.
I wish he would make more. That's one of the things where I actually wish there is an afterlife to meet these people and read on.
Never know your luck. Although I think we know our luck.
Oh, but my luck will be there. There will be a heaven. I may get entered, and then I need to drink tea and wear white clothing.
Oh no. That'd be terrible. Oh, could you imagine? How horrible is that?
I think I told you about that comic strip when Lemmy Kilmister died.
Yes.
And he got up into heaven and he was greeted by... bloody hell.
St. Peter?
No, another musician that just passed shortly before
Bowie.
him. Bowie, yeah. And Bowie just says, don't complain about the clothing. Just wait until you see what's at the bar. And he's just having a cup of tea in hand.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Shockity
Also,
shocking.
don't drink whiskey and cola. Cola is bad for you. Go vodka and orange juice. Next project, please.
I heard it was ice cubes.
That's also, yeah. So, Apple Mac. He's continuing on his very impressive project this was a rule set he wrote himself too, wasn't it?
This is one he's still writing. This is his development. So currently we're on to the shooting phase.
Let's see, where did we leave off? There.
Movement.
Does this count as a battle report, or is this not a battle report because he's still in development?
This game's design. Can't have a battle report until you've actually got a battle going on. This is just rules testing.
That's almost a logical argument.
I do like the once again the work he's putting into it to try and work out where he's going to take the rule set. So, 3 types of firing: pistols, musket, and artillery, and then work out the movement rates and how the actual fire is going to go. Currently, there will potentially be a exploding sixes, although that may make things too devastating in the long run. Who knows?
So when the whole squad has a very lucky day and everybody rolls a 6, the game is over.
But yeah, the idea that you're still drawing dice from a bag a la bolt action to get the activation of the unit, and then it looks like he's allowing units to combine. So you're not just going, this unit is activated on an advance, this unit is going into ambush, but you can actually stack multiple things. So you can take the time to reload and prepare and get ready for your next firing. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what drives people to make their own rules. It's not like we're spoiled for choice with rule
but
sets.
You'll find an awful lot of rule sets are either derivative, or in the case of some companies, they're there to sell miniatures, or they just don't do what you want them to do. It's the reason that I've not played any Napoleonic games, really. Because I have an idea of what I think Napoleonic warfare is, and I can't find a rule set that does that adequately. So at some point I'll probably have to do the same myself if I ever decide to actually start it. I know other people have run into the same problem where they'll find a rule set that they quite like, and then there are big jarring things in it, like you fluff a command roll right in front of a unit so the unit does nothing, even though the enemy's right there, the enemy's shooting at them, but your guys just sit there and take it in the face.
Not really, very realistic, I'd say.
No. Not, as you say, realistic at all.
But maybe that's just showing that I'm playing more fluff, that I'm not giving it rat's ass about actual rules, as long as they're not too hideously chaotic.
That's the thing. When you want a good... Even though he's playing a game, not a simulation, he still wants the game to behave in a certain way. And at the same time be simple enough to teach his son. So you have to make compromises somewhere, otherwise you'll just end up playing black powder, which does some things very well and does other things fucking horrendously badly. It's one of those things. I still say that should never have been published in its state. That was really only written for 3 people in the world who actually have tables that are fucking big enough.
You shouldn't play it on tables, but on the floor. Or at other people's houses. Well, let's take this show to the last project of the day, which is the most glorious picture ever.
Could be.
Dark Future game of Highway Warriors. Just goes to show no game hasn't been done before at any point in time.
Oh yeah. It was a thing of beauty.
So Denzian takes Dark Future to Gaslands.
Yep. So essentially keeping the keeping the core of the background and story behind it, but just changing the rule set it's going to be played with, which makes an awful lot of sense.
If I've ever seen a well-used rulebook, I think this is it.
It reminds me of so many of mine, right down to the reinforcers around the holes. The little stickers you used to get for when you were punching to put into a lever file, and then you would have these little reinforcing stickers.
Yeah, if there is any hole left for these, they look just like ripped apart. But then I never heard of this game before. Is this some...
Dark Future?
Yeah, I've actually never heard of it.
It's one of GW's original ones. It's a bit of a leg end. Really nice box set. It came with a load of plastic cars in it. So very much the Mad Maxian feel of everything.
Oh, but that may be the reason why I'm not aware of it. I don't think, aside from Hero Quest, Space Quest, and the original Blood Bowl, there was many Games Workshop games over here.
Well, that's probably it. So essentially, in 1995, America finally went the whole hog and privatized the police. And they have the US, continental US is split up into different states. And it's sort of, well, it is post-apocalyptic, but then when your teams are mercs who are just sort of doing sanctioned ops around the place, so they're just heading out in their car to kill people up to Buggery and back. It's very Judge Dredd-esque, I suppose. You know, the future is grim and horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lovely little game.
It looks like they really made some effort on it.
Oh yeah, they went the whole hog. I still have. There was a couple of novels. I've still got Route 666 about somewhere, which was a Kim Newman written novel, which is excellent. But yeah,
I would say most of these cars are just toy line rip-offs.
well, most of these cars are cars. So some of them will be like Gaslands, will be converted just from Hot Wheels, and other ones, like that black one in the middle right, the bottom page there.
With the flames.
With the flames is one of the plastic ones from the kit. Because I think you can make about 8 from the box. Can't remember.
Yeah, but
there was only so many different types of vehicles, so you got like the same chassis 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but because I was looking at the police car and the hot rod on the far right with the big wheel, those hubcaps are definitely Matchbox. I really think that I don't think that they were remade by Games Workshop at any point. But then again, I might be wrong. Put in your comments down below if you got a source.
You have to remember, this was not the shit Games Workshop of today. This was the Games Workshop where they would feature other companies' miniatures in their books and would tell people to make tanks out of,
shampoo bottles,
roll-on deodorant things and shit like that. They were not afraid of going, hard plastic is fucking incredibly expensive. We will never make these. Go and grab your stuff. But I mean, there's the cars there. I think that white one maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's been so long, so very fucking long.
Or maybe Games Workshop simply went out, bought a handful of die-cast cars and just threw them in there.
Yeah. Like I said, mixture.
Yeah, the sheer thought of Games Workshop advertising anything else but their own stuff within their magazines is...
You are so young. So
Oh.
young.
Oh, say that to me tomorrow again.
And I will. Fuck me. It must be the guts of a decade of White Dwarves I have before they finally stopped showing other people's stuff in their magazine.
Yeah, and I think that's about the amount before they started doing the German version in 96,
Oh, God,
96 97. I can't even tell if you...
Rest in halcyon days, they were all fucking amazing. So good. Every one of them.
So not
Yes,
only
balls.
in the ways of music, but also the hobby, I'm born 10 years late, it seems.
Apparently.
But then again, if I'd been born 10 years early, I'd be in my mid-50s now.
True.
Which doesn't feel that far off, to be honest. Yeah, 144 Artist, my first White Dwarf, also started in the double digits, but it was the German version, so that was 100 and something in English. It was around the time when Battlefield Gothic got beta rules in the White Dwarf, and they still did very much advertising for Epic 40k.
Epic. Epic 40k.
Which was actually the game that drew my attention, but then again, never got around playing it.
Diddly-diddly-do. What year was this? What's in this? What's in this issue of White Dwarf? Star Trek RPG.
Now you're making things up.
No, I'm not. It's a trap. D&D. The Final Frontier. Star Trek RPG. Night's Dark Ninjas, part 3 on our series of ninjas in role-playing games. Strike Back, superhero scenario for champions and golden heroes. A few credits more. Analysis of Money and Traveller, the RPG.
Traveller.
Then after that we have Critical Mass, science fiction and fantasy book review column. Thrud the Barbarian, fucking legend. Fiend Factory with Chun the Unavoidable for AD&D. Ooh, moving up in the world with your AD&D. Some stuff for Rune Quest. Some stuff about painting figures written by Gary Chalk and Joe Deaver of Lone Wolf fame.
That does sound like any White Dwarf I ever had in my hand. That just sounds like a decent fan magazine.
It's an amazing magazine, full of amazeballs-ness.
Makes you wonder why they stopped doing that.
Because they made more money by hawking their shit. Just had to point this one out. And I wholeheartedly agree.
The computer game is dead.
Fuck you, computer. You fuck. Thrud and Gobbledygook were amazeballs. I've got a big resin Thrud figure. 144. When it was the anniversary of Thrud, Carl started doing a new set of comics. They did like a compiled, it's way up there, you can't see it, did a compiled or compilation, like a hardback compilation of them. And Heresy Miniatures Andy did this big fuck off model, which I bought two and I was going to use them as bookends, and then I ended up giving one to a friend who's another sad old crusty bastard. Sam the Bastard, in fact. So I was left with one. I was like, well, I can't make a pair of bookends out of one. And it sat and it sat and it sat. And then I started doing my ogre army for Kings of War. I was like, oh, I could have Thrud the Barbarian as my giant. Because there's nothing on that model that scales it. Yes, he's drinking from a wooden banded tankard, but it slopes. It looks like a butter churn. So he could just be like drinking out of a butter churn because he's so huge. I was going, oh, well, that's it then. Thrud the Barbarian is my giant.
Yeah, Demon Sub just mentioned I should follow the Daily Dwarf for White Dwarfs of Old on Twitter. And I did. So I'll give that a read when time is not of the essence. And I've got a spare minute or two during work hours.
Sam the Bastard was awesome. He used to be at one stage he was a bouncer. And at the end of the night, they would get, anybody attempting to leave the bar in Belfast, they'd take the glasses off them when they were spilling out into the street and out of laveries. And then, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever, doors would be locked, or probably even earlier than that. At that stage, probably 1 o'clock, doors would be locked. Crowd of bastards in the street, standing around talking, being drunk and noisy and annoying, and not going home. And Sam, who would have been taking all these pints and drinks off people and throwing them in a bucket and putting the glass in a stack behind the door. So the bar people would come and take the glasses away, and Sam would take the bucket of slop up to the 3rd floor and open the window and wing it out.
I can see that most regulars would know that practice and not be standing in front of the bar and talking loudly.
Well, you would like to hope so, but that was never going to happen. If anybody wants to know what Sam the Bastard looks like, the original Morgenthorg for Blood Bowl, Sam was the spitting image down to the flattened, sort of broken at some point nose. Just exactly the same. So we used to call Morgenthorg Morgan Butler after Sam Butler. Oh, I hate you, Butler. Anyway, yeah, good times. I have 3 of the old threads. I've lost my fucking slave girl for one of the bases. But again, that's a very good point. Doing a unit of threads would be great. I should do something with my threads.
An army of threads.
I won't. I won't do anything with my threads. I can dream.
A crew of threads.
I stripped them a few years ago, so they're stripped.
Make him a crew for Frostgrave or something.
Just do a bunch of threads, threading around the place. Thread was amazing, because he was, a proper barbarian. With a very, very, very tiny head. I'm trying to see if I can see where the book is there. Because if I could, I could lift it down, but I can't. What the fuck is that? No. I've put it somewhere safe. Safe.
The question always remains, safe from who or what?
Apparently from me, waving it about in front of people.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a terrible shame, really. Nothing to do with me.
And on that bombshell, we end the show tonight. A bit early, but I won't complain.
Tightly scripted,
yes,
half hour.
I won't complain, because tomorrow will mark the occasional yearly trip around the sun for me, so...
Ooh. Another day older, another day closer to the grave.
Not close enough. Hi, thanks everybody for being here with me and Jerry live. Thank you, Jerry, for being the well of knowledge. Not yet, Demons Up tomorrow. Keep your premature birthday wishes for yourself.
Just relax and get up to date with the latest Warren thinking.
Do some things.
I would like to say, at some point in this book, and I'm not entirely certain where it is, there's an article on mutant squirrels, but this is a compilation of 4 issues of the 14 times, so fuck knows where the mutant squirrels live in here. I will find them.
Yeah, maybe you could show us them next week.
I don't imagine so. It would mean reading through this. I just don't want to read through it, but my brother has bought a load of stuff, and they went, I've actually already got all of these in their individual form, so I don't actually need this book I've bought, so you can have it. You're going, alright, thank you very much, I think.
It would, worst comes to worst, you've got some...
Two snakes? I think there is, actually.
You've got something to put under your kitchen table legs if they start shifting.
Oh yeah, if they start going. Oh no, I mean, in this is a wealth of X-Files-esque nonsense that can be used for all sorts of RPGs. So, anytime I need a thing for a weird RPG, I'll just go straight in here and get it. And there you go.
Or you could make a segment on the XLBS and annoy Warren with knowledge he doesn't have.
A time skip in North Africa. Da, da, da. Is that where GW got their idea for Legion of the Damned? The spectral soldiers marched through the pages of World War One. Bum, bum, bum. Anyway,
I will say good night on this, and Goodbye.
Tatty bye.